My 8-year-old brother, Max, said he was reborn. He was 8 that year. I was 5, hopelessly bad at directions and always clinging to a sleeve. That day, he led me across an empty suburban field to a thin, vacant-eyed boy rummaging through piles of trash. The boy was searching for something with frantic focus. A rag doll. Max glanced at the hairpin clipped into my hair, the one shaped like a doll, and pointed at me. "She is the doll," he said calmly. "She belongs to you now." Then he turned around and walked away. He never looked back. I stood there, frozen, waiting. Noon passed. Afternoon bled into evening. The sun dipped low, but my brother did not return. Then a strange voice echoed through the air, distant yet sharp, as if it came from nowhere and everywhere at once. "The villainous does not know that the male lead has also been reborn. In this life, he will treasure only the female lead who died tragically before, treating her as his sister." I did not understand any of it. My eyes burned with tears. I trembled, overwhelmed and confused, unable to grasp the meaning of those words. The boy finished turning over the last scrap of garbage. He wiped his dirty hands against his clothes and looked at me. Slowly, he reached out and tugged on my doll hairpin. "Ragdoll," he asked in a dull voice, "do you want to come home with me?" The road behind us stretched on, empty and silent. The figure that had left never reappeared. I bit my lip until it hurt, my eyes swollen and red. I shoved his hand away, my voice shaking even as I tried to sound brave. "I can talk. I'm not your ragdoll. My mother had died giving birth to me. My father disappeared long ago. It was Max who carried me, still an infant, to the orphanage. Since then, he was the only person who had ever been gentle with me. He always said never to follow strangers. So I stood there beside the foul-smelling trash heap, waiting for him to come back. In 5 years, he had never once abandoned me. I did not understand why he left me there. I did not understand the strange voice or the word reborn. I only believed that my brother would return. The sky darkened. The sun slipped behind the trees. Tears blurred my vision, and I wiped my eyes again and again, refusing to stop watching the road. The boy stood in front of me, studying my face. I stared back, tense and wary. "My brother is coming to get me," I insisted. "I won't go with you." He blinked, surprised by my moving lips, as if only then realizing I was not an object at all. Disappointment flickered across his face. "Then stay here," he said. "It's getting dark. I have to go home." The last trace of sunlight vanished. Shadows swallowed the field. He turned and walked away. I was alone. Night settled in completely. I could barely see my feet. The grass rustled, insects chirped, unseen creatures moved nearby. I forced myself not to cry. I crouched down, curling into myself, fists clenched and slick with sweat. Time stretched endlessly. Sleep tugged at my eyelids, but fear kept them open. I listened to every sound, straining to survive the darkness. Then a shadow appeared. Someone taller than me. The tears I had been holding back burst free. I leapt up and rushed forward, sobbing as I threw myself into the embrace. But the smell was wrong. I froze and stepped back. In the faint light, I saw filthy clothes and a thin frame. It was the boy from the trash pile. After a long silence, he spoke bluntly. "Your brother doesn't want you." Anger and humiliation burned in my chest. I clenched my fists. "You're lying." He shook his head seriously. "He gave you to me, like a rag doll. No one comes back for something they throw away." My throat tightened. I wanted to argue, but no words came. Only broken whimpers escaped my mouth. He glanced around. "No one wants you. If you stay here, monsters will eat you." He turned to leave. Terror surged through me. I shook violently, tears streaming down my face. "You're lying," I cried. "My brother will come." Yet my legs moved after him on their own. I was more afraid of the darkness behind me than of this boy. I ran forward and grabbed his sleeve, clinging desperately. "He's coming," I sobbed. "He promised to buy me cake today. It's my birthday." He's saved money for months. The night before, he had squeezed my hand and whispered, "Little Jane, tomorrow I'll give you the biggest surprise." We walked for a long time. When my crying finally slowed to hiccups, I noticed a glow ahead. The strange voice returned. "Isn't that the military base where the female lead will be adopted? How did the stray idiot bring the villainess here?" "I already told you he's stupid. Why are you shocked? Entering a military base illegally is a crime. The villainess caused chaos in her previous life. She might be eliminated at 5. The light grew clearer. A massive gate loomed before us, crowned with a red star. Armed guards stood rigidly at attention, their expressions severe. My sobbing died in my throat. This time, I understood a little. I tightened my grip on the boy's sleeve, about to tell him we could not go any further, when a young couple rushed out from inside the base. The man wore a military uniform, his face dark with anger. The woman, dressed neatly, ran toward us with tears in her eyes. She pulled the boy into her arms. "You ran away again," she cried. "We've searched the entire base for you. Do you know how worried we were?" I clutched my skirt, too afraid to speak. Then the woman noticed me and stopped. Her voice faltered. Who is this child?" The boy lifted his chin, clearly proud of himself. "Someone gave her to me," he announced. "She can talk. She can cry." The woman froze. The man behind her stepped forward at once, his expression dark with restrained anger. "Enough nonsense." He snapped at the boy, then took a steadying breath and knelt in front of me. His voice softened. "Little one, do you remember your family or where you live? Uncle will take you home." Fear clogged my throat. I answered haltingly. "I live in an orphanage. I have a brother. He lost me by accident." The couple exchanged looks. They handed the boy over to a guard and offered to drive me back themselves. When the jeep stopped outside the orphanage, I spotted my brother immediately. He stood beneath a street lamp, speaking with the director. Tears rushed into my eyes. I shoved the door open and ran toward him. Seeing that I had found my family, the couple stayed behind and did not follow. I reached the gate and met my brother's gaze. For a brief second, there was shock, then disgust, then a sharp warning. I wanted to believe I was imagining it, but then I heard his hurried voice. "You've always said she's stupid, that she can't remember the road even after walking it 100 times, he told the director. "She's sickly and causes trouble for the orphanage. I only lost her by accident this time. It has nothing to do with you." The colonel's wife was deciding between Jane and Sarah. Let them adopt Sarah instead. She's smart. She'll remember to come back, and thank you. I stood there, frozen. Not long ago, the colonel and his wife had visited the orphanage. They said Sarah and I were the most obedient children and that they wanted to adopt one of us. My brother had worked hard to make me look good. In the end, the colonel's wife chose me. Sarah was the daughter of my mother's acquaintance. After her father got into trouble, she was sent to the orphanage. She often tried to get close to my brother, but he always ignored her. Just yesterday, when she came to wish me a happy birthday, my brother angrily drove her away. "Jane's birthday has nothing to do with you." Now, only one day later, everything had changed. I did not understand why. Just like I did not understand the strange voices that kept speaking in the air. The director listened with interest, then smiled approvingly. "Remember what you said, boy," he replied. "You lost your sister. Sarah is clever. If she's adopted by the colonel, she'll definitely remember to repay my kindness." My hands clenched tightly at my sides. After the director left, my brother walked toward me, his face clouded. He asked coldly, "How did you find your way back? Did that idiot teach you the route?" My eyes burned. I struggled to hold back tears, but my voice cracked. "Why did you abandon me? Why?" He sneered, looking at me with a strange, violent hatred. "If I hadn't been soft-hearted and remembered that we were siblings, I would have killed you the moment I saw you." I stared at him, terrified and confused, as he stepped closer. "In the previous life," he said through clenched teeth, "Sarah only joked about selling my Harvard acceptance letter. You made a huge scene at the college and the military base, humiliated her, and sent her to prison. She killed herself there." I barely understood what he was saying. He stopped abruptly, laughing bitterly. "Why am I even explaining this to you?" he said coldly. "Jane, I spared your life. That's already generous. Whether you live or die from now on has nothing to do with me. Never appear in front of Sarah or me again, or you'll regret it." My entire body shook. Without thinking, I reached for his arm. He slapped my hand away and shoved me hard. I did not know he could push with such force. My body flew backward. The world spun. Something slammed into my forehead. Warm blood streamed down, blurring my vision. Through the red haze, I saw his back as he walked away, firm and resolute. Only then did I understand. He truly did not want me anymore. For reasons I could not comprehend, my brother was gone. The young couple brought me back to the military base. Inside the foyer, I saw the foolish boy sitting on the sofa, staring anxiously at the door. The moment he saw me, his eyes lit up. He rushed over and grabbed my wrist, glaring angrily at the adults. "She's mine," he declared. "Don't you dare take her away again." He turned to me and examined me carefully. "Are you hungry? Are you tired? I'll take you to eat. Then we'll sleep. He spoke gently, as if I truly were a fragile doll. The woman sighed softly. That's my son, Alex. 6 months ago, he had an accident and lost his mind when his sister passed away. So he was not a stray. He had been searching for a doll because he missed his sister. The woman took my other hand. He won't hurt you. If you're scared, I can move him to another room. I remembered how he had come back for me at sunset, even after I had pushed him away. I shook my head firmly. I'm not afraid. Her eyes reddened. She gently stroked my hair. Good, she said softly. Since he brought you home, this can be your home too, as long as you wish to stay. The housekeeper prepared a bedroom for me, and Alex was ecstatic, helping carry blankets, toiletries, and snacks. That night, after washing up, I sat by the window, quietly crying. The strange room and unfamiliar surroundings made me afraid to sleep. The door creaked open. Alex peeked in, holding a blanket. Can I sleep on the floor by your bed? He asked. I don't snore. I looked at him. His presence reminded me of my brother, and I felt my lips tremble as more tears fell. That night, Alex curled up beside my bed. For the first time in weeks, I slept peacefully, feeling safe. 2 months passed at the Chin residence. I gradually learned more about them. Mr. Chin was a colonel, and Mrs. Chin a skilled heart surgeon. Alex had a grandfather in the capital whose background was shrouded in mystery. I was too young to attend school, and Alex, due to his condition, was homeschooled. One day, Mrs. Chin and I went to a store to buy Alex a rag doll. He cherished it like a treasure, abandoning his habit of scavenging through trash. Together, we spent hours sewing clothes for the doll. The calm, structured environment of the Chin household slowly healed the anxiety and fear left by Max abandoning me. As summer waned, a stray cat wandered onto the base. We built it a small shelter and took it in. One afternoon, while I was feeding the cat, Sarah appeared, accompanied by the colonel's housekeeper. I hadn't seen her in a while. Suddenly, I remembered Max's words. Sarah is clever. Let the colonel adopt her. It seemed his wish had come true. I continued feeding the cat, staring at her blankly. Sarah strutted up, pride written across her face. Her expression froze when she saw me, then twisted into disdain. I ignored her and focused on the cat. She approached, her tone dripping with condescension. A stray child playing with a wild animal? Do you know where you are? You'll be thrown in jail for trespassing. Sarah had always enjoyed tormenting me when Max wasn't around. I ignored her and continued petting the cat. Suddenly, she stepped on the cat's paw. It yelped in pain, claws raking at her ankle in panic. Sarah screamed, flinging the cat away. She turned to the housekeeper, outraged. Do you see this? This beast scratched me. I am the colonel's daughter now. Get rid of this wild child and this animal. The cat whimpered, huddled in pain. I scooped it up and grabbed the ceramic food bowl, hurling it at Sarah's face. Blood ran down her forehead as she lunged at me. You hit me. You filthy street trash. Do you understand what you've done? I reacted without thinking, grabbing her hair and biting her arm. The cat leapt from my arms and clung to her shoulder, claws digging into her neck. The housekeeper, a dignified woman used to order and discipline, looked horrified. She had never witnessed such a ferocious battle between 2 5- and 6-year-olds. Just then, Max entered the base, carrying Sarah's luggage. Her neck and face were scratched and bloody, while I had several bite marks on my arm. He rushed over, his voice thundering, a mixture of fury and disappointment. You're still that vicious. For a moment, I thought he was scolding Sarah, as he once had, aware of her true nature. But as he drew closer, I realized his gaze was fixed on me. He yanked me roughly aside, shouting, Even at 5, you're cruel beyond measure. I understood then. This was not the brother I remembered. This was a monster wearing his face, twisted and merciless. Max carried the sobbing Sarah, barking orders at the housekeeper. Your young mistress is hurt. Remove this wild child and her animal immediately. The housekeeper looked distressed. I can't. This child is the colonel's new ward. She's been living here for 2 months. Max's expression faltered. Impossible. She couldn't have gained access to the base. The housekeeper explained patiently. The colonel's 8-year-old son, Alex, who has special needs, brought her here 2 months ago. Max paled as comprehension dawned. He finally understood everything. Max looked at me with blazing fury. So that's why you followed me so obediently. You knew he wasn't a stray. I didn't respond. That day, I followed him because for 5 years, He had been the person I trusted most. I believed my brother would never harm me. Only now did I understand the truth. He simply wanted to get rid of me. I clenched my hands and met his gaze with forced calm. I refused to let him see my pain. Sarah stared at me with a mixture of confusion and hatred. Max wrapped an arm around her shoulders, comforting her gently. "Don't be scared," he said. "The colonel is just a commander. Your future will still be better. Besides, they only adopted her as a toy for their son. They won't keep her." His words were disgusting. I turned my head away, swallowing my tears. Max tightened his fists and spoke with fierce certainty. "No matter what happens, I'll make sure everything you have will be 1,000 times better than anything Jane ever gets." Sarah finally stopped crying. She looked at me triumphantly. I hugged my cat tightly and stared back at them. "Then we'll see who ends up better." The strange voices returned. "The male lead has the protagonist's blessing. His path may be rough, but his ending will far surpass the villainess's. She's only celebrating too early. Just wait, the Chin family won't stay wealthy for long. Look at the colonel, he's already drinking heavily. Stomach cancer is coming. His daughter died, his son is disabled. He looks strong, but he's already breaking. He'll drink himself into lung cancer. After that, his wife and his powerful father will follow." I shut the voices out. No matter how brave I tried to be, I was still just a 5-year-old child who had been abandoned by her only family. I fell ill for a full week, burning with fever. Alex stayed at my bedside, terrified to leave. Mr. and Mrs. Chin put aside their work to care for me. My mind drifted through frightening, fragmented visions. Max at 17, clutching Sarah's lifeless body and screaming that I killed her. An elderly Max, hair white, dying alone while holding Sarah's coat. My head burned, and in that chaos, my memories from my previous life fully returned. In my past life, Sarah arrived at the orphanage shortly before my 5th birthday. She cried often and seemed helpless. Max was fiercely protective of me and distrustful of everyone else. He ignored her attempts to get close. But people change. When I was 7, I became seriously ill with a high fever. Max stayed by my side day and night. During that time, Sarah ran 10 miles through heavy rain to buy medicine. She returned soaked, pale, and shaking. That was the first time I saw Max look at someone else with concern. After she left, he sat beside my bed for a long time, believing I was asleep. Then he took clean towels and warm water and went out to check on her. I felt panic like never before. Since the day I was born, Max was my entire world. Any sign that his attention might shift filled me with terror. After I recovered, hatred took root. I confronted Sarah, shouting, "Stay away from my brother. Don't talk to him." She smirked at me while holding her cafeteria tray. Something inside me snapped. I rushed forward and grabbed her arm. "I'm talking to you." Her eyes reddened. She bit her lip and deliberately dropped her tray, spilling food everywhere. Max appeared and shouted at me for the first time in my life. "Jane, you can't behave like this." After that, I could never be good again. I fought with Sarah constantly. In private, she was cruel and calculating. In public, she was gentle and pitiful. I lost control again and again, while Max grew increasingly disappointed in me. He began spending more time with her, apologizing on my behalf. Still, I remained his priority. He fought for my adoption. He helped me attend the best schools. His entire life revolved around me. Yet when he heard Sarah had been adopted by a gambling addict and was living in misery, he would often fall silent. He secretly sent her money and letters. He traveled long distances just to see her. When he was accepted into Harvard, he learned that Sarah was about to be beaten to death by her adoptive father. He took time off, used his savings and my money, rented an apartment, and took her in. I didn't learn the truth until his acceptance letter went missing. The colonel investigated and discovered that Sarah had sold Max's Harvard admission letter to a factory owner's son. At the time, such a letter could change an entire life. I lost control. I gathered evidence and reported her. When the police arrested Sarah, she cried and told Max, "I was only joking. I just wanted people to see how proud I was of you." It was an obvious lie, but Max believed her. "Jane," he cried, "why did you do this? Sarah would never be that cruel." Sarah died in prison. For decades afterward, Max barely spoke to me. I supported him financially, even as he became a national hero. When he died, he was still clutching Sarah's coat. Our bond as siblings ended there. I woke fully a week later. Sunlight filled the room. Alex and the cat were watching me closely. The cat jumped onto my face, licking me excitedly. Alex shouted, "She's awake." Mr. and Mrs. Chun, who had been sleeping nearby, rushed to my side with water and porridge. Mrs. Chun hugged me tightly, her eyes wet. "Don't be afraid.
You're part of the Chin family now.
No one will bully you. I've already spoken to the colonel. When you're better, that girl will apologize." Tears filled my eyes. My own brother had never shown me kindness, not even at the end of his life. Yet this family, whom I had known only months, treated me with genuine care. I leaned into Mrs. Chen's arms and finally understood everything. Max had been reborn. He wanted to atone for his regrets, so he gave all his love to Sarah and discarded me. I stopped mourning my past devotion. This time, he could give everything to Sarah. I would live for myself. The colonel, his wife, and military staff summoned Sarah. She cried and claimed innocence. The housekeeper contradicted her calmly. She attacked the cat first. The military families were outraged. The colonel thundered, "Apologize to my daughter immediately, or kneel in the yard for an entire day." Sarah's face twisted in humiliation. Max rushed in and pulled her behind him. "She won't apologize. She did nothing wrong." Max comforted Sarah and promised she would never suffer again. The colonel and his wife were furious. Sarah was sent away, and Max left with her, swearing to find her a better family. I stayed. Mrs. Chin quickly finalized the adoption. I officially became a member of the Chin family. That night, the strange voices were still sneering. The male lead's hardships will turn into glory. This happiness won't last. The Chin family will fall. The colonel will die of illness. His wife and father will follow. I finally understood. The Chin family was in danger. The colonel had been drinking heavily. I reached out and gently took the glass from his hand. "Dad, you're a soldier. You should drink less." Mrs. Chun smiled softly. The colonel looked surprised, then nodded. "You're right. I'll quit. My health matters." Late that night, Alex sneaked into my room. He handed me a rag doll he had sewn himself, pointing shyly at a crooked seam. I hugged it tightly. "It's beautiful. Thank you." I remembered the future illness tied to grief. I couldn't bring back his sister, but I could help him heal. Holding his wrist gently, I said, "I heard there's a very good psychologist in the city." Alex shrank back. "I'm scared of doctors." "I'll stay with you the whole time," I promised. "If you're uncomfortable, we'll leave. Just try once, okay, brother?" The word made his eyes widen. After a long pause, he nodded. The therapy worked. Alex recovered far faster than anyone expected. He was only mildly disappointed when the amazing soup stand I had described to him did not exist. I could not bring myself to admit that I had invented it just to coax him into treatment. 3 months later, Alex's memories returned completely. That night, he stayed alone in his room. I sat outside the door, crying quietly, terrified he would ask me to leave. I was adopted. If he wanted me gone, no one could stop him. The door suddenly opened. Alex rushed out, alarmed. "Why are you crying? I'm not throwing you out. I just thought, maybe you'd want me to leave." He pulled me into his arms. "I never treated you as a substitute for my sister. You're just a kid who was abandoned." I broke down completely. Alex sighed and hugged me tighter. "You're the foolish one. If you really thought I'd abandon you, why did you help me get better?" "Because I didn't want you to stay an idiot forever." He laughed, eyes red, clearly moved. Life with the Chin family continued quietly and happily. I attended high school in the capital. Alex joined the military. I often visited my adoptive parents and grandfather. All of them remained healthy. The illness that was supposed to claim the colonel never appeared. The strange voices still mocked me, insisting Max and Sarah would eventually reach a perfect ending. I ignored them. I knew the truth. Sarah's life was a constant cycle of chaos. She was expelled from elite schools again and again. Max sacrificed everything for her, even dropping out to tutor her, only to be betrayed repeatedly. He returned to his hometown, worn down and empty. Here he took his exams and scored well, but missed Harvard by 2 points. History repeated itself. Sarah returned, sold his acceptance letter, and Max finally sued her. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Max died a year later from heart failure. He died alone. On the day of his burial, I fell ill with a fever and drifted into a dream. I saw the voices screaming about an unfair ending. Then, I saw the author's final note written clearly across the darkness. The previous story was unsatisfying. I allowed the characters to be reborn. This time, they chose their own paths. The The book closed. When I woke up, my family surrounded me. Their love was steady and real. Alex was asleep on the floor beside my bed. He stirred awake and rubbed his eyes. "I have something important to tell you on your birthday." I smiled softly. "Okay." On my birthday, Alex took the day off. He was visibly nervous, clutching a small jewelry box he had bought earlier. He did not propose. Instead, he smiled and said his wish was the same as mine, to stay with our family forever. That night, snow fell quietly outside. I woke to find Alex by the window, gently closing it. For a moment, I remembered Max long ago on a snowy night, holding my hand and saying, "Don't be afraid. Brother will always be here." This time, I finally believed it.